Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. You know, we hear a lot about SEO and search engine optimization. It's been around for a long, long time. A lot of myths about it and confusions about it. One of the things I consider most alarming is people who simply lost their jobs and have decided to become SEO experts because it has relatively low overhead involved in doing it, you know, and yet they don't have the skills to even discover what SEO really is about in the front end, let alone keep up with the incredible changes that the primary SEO driver, which is Google, is constantly making, be it frustrating penguins or irritating pandas. It's not something you learn once and then you're done. And so I wanted to bring on someone who could speak about this topic, which is Todd Paton, and he's with a company called Paton Marketing. They're out of Florida. And Todd, welcome to the program. How are you today?
Doing great. It's great to be here.
Yeah, kind of give us your elevator speech. Tell us about your background.
Yeah, well, my background is actually, believe it or not, in real estate. That's what I started out in 1999. I started a real estate company and a mortgage company out of Tampa, Florida. And, you know, it was a good time to get into that business. Within a couple years, I had 100 people working for me. We had 5 offices. I had 3 in Tampa and 2 in Fort Lauderdale, and things were going great, Kevin. I mean, it couldn't have gone any better, you know. And then 2008 came, and we all know what happened in 2008. I was basically went from, you know, a self-made millionaire to broke. And when I say broke, I mean every sense of that word. Broke to where I couldn't put gas in my car, you know, and it was amazing. It was a humbling experience, but at the same time, I knew I had to pick myself up and figure out what I was going to do with my life, you know, with work.
Yeah. A lot of our audience is in Houston, Texas, so when they hear you say that, they're like, what? Because, you know, Houston's always had a more modest, you know, real estate market. We are more into steadfast growth rather than booms and busts, although I think we may be a little poised for a bust, to be honest with you, buddy. But places like Miami, those places go a little crazy, don't they? A little bit of Vegas.
Yeah, man, a lot like Vegas. Yeah, we got hit really hard, you know, and, you know, when that happened, I basically said, I'm good at marketing, and the internet's not going anywhere. So instead of, you know, let me get in as close to as a recession-proof kind of business as I can, and that was the internet. You know, strategically using the internet to generate business. So I actually went to a workshop, a 3-day workshop in Atlanta, Georgia, and I learned systems and processes of how to. You mentioned SEO. That's one component of it, but there's a lot, you know, how to use the internet to really dominate your industry, you know, and blow away your competition. And I hired a coach, and it actually, believe it or not, there's a coach that can teach you internet marketing. And I hired a coach, and I learned these processes and systems and built my company. I moved to Miami in 2009. Today we have about 65 retainer clients. And we do, you know, as big as the Trump organization we've done work for, and as small as a local restaurant here in Miami. You know, we work all over the United States with clients, but we work with a lot of agencies, Kevin. So you know, companies like PR firms and ad agencies, and they use my services, and they basically private label or white label our work, you know. But that's our core business, and it's a growing business. But you mentioned change in the intro, and that couldn't have been a better word to use, because SEO is changing, and it has changed. In the 6 years that I've been doing this, it's changed so much, you know. And just to give you an example of my company, what we do, I have 4 people in my office that all they do is test Google's algorithm changes. And then there's all they do, their job is to find out what is Google putting a value on, because contrary to what people might say, nobody knows, you know, and it's an ever-changing landscape. So we have to be on top of that, and that's really what our job is, you know.
Yeah, no question about it, no question about it. So tell me about the verticals that you work.
Yeah, so we work with a lot of law firms. You know, legal industry is an industry that a lot of lawyers. We also work with, as I mentioned, PR firms and ad agencies. A lot of those PR firms have, you know, resorts and hotels and hospitality industry.
Mm-hmm. And is there a particular size of those businesses? I'm assuming most of them are small to mid-size.
Yeah, I mean, small businesses is mainly our bread and butter. But yeah, I would say small business is typical. I mean, what the Small Business Administration calls a small business, it isn't really that small, but that's typically who we work with,
And as the services, do you represent other products in which you white label those, or are your services being white labeled by other companies?
It's our service that's being white labeled. So an example would be a public relations firm. What they would do is they have a lot of clients, and they do a lot of PR stuff, traditional PR. They just don't know the Internet. They don't have the staff or the ability to know SEO, search, specifically SEO or pay-per-click. And they use a company like mine. I do all the work. I send them the reports. They put their logo on it if they want, or they'll just introduce us as a team member of theirs, as a partner, I should say. And that's what I mean by that,
Yeah, absolutely. No, it makes perfect sense. And what percentage of your business would you say are companies that are white labeling your product? It's
growing. Yeah, it's growing. It's in the last 2 years, I would say about 20% of my business is from white labeling, and then the rest of it is from directly from the client. And that's how we started out. I couldn't white label anything in the beginning because we were just new. But as we got a lot of success stories and case studies of how we've transformed some of these businesses, we've been we're getting contacted by a lot of these PR firms and ad agencies since then. So I would say about 20-25% of our business is now from that white label.
And how many people do you have in your team?
So we have, it's interesting, we have 25 people in our office in Miami, and that's in downtown Miami. But I also have an office and it's actually my office. And that's a big thing because there's a word called outsource, and then people get scared by that term. We're very transparent with our clients, and we tell them exactly how our company's set up. But we actually have an office in Delhi, and it's our office. We have 42 people in that office, and that's really the brains behind. They're so intelligent, so smart. My team in there. So yeah, I go every year. I spend almost a month. I spend 3 weeks in Delhi every year, and it's a great operation because we're 24 hours really. Because when it's when we're right now it's sleeping. They're sleeping in Delhi.
Yeah. All right, great stuff, Todd Paton. And final thoughts on maybe 2 or 3 questions every person should ask before they hire an SEO firm.
Well, the final thought is, and this is probably the most important, Kevin, is that if you're a business owner, do not spend $1 marketing your business on the Internet. Don't spend $1. I see it all the time happen until you've performed or you've hired a company like ours, keyword research and market research, extensive. So if there's one takeaway I would like to give is make sure there's so many tools online, Kevin, that you can utilize. For example, there's a website called SpyFu, SPYFU.com. SpyFu lets us spy on competitors. So if you come to me, and let's say you're a lawyer in Houston, a family lawyer, and you come to me and say, Todd, I'm a family lawyer, I want to hire you guys. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find out who's the best family lawyer in Houston, not just one, but multiple, and I want to learn everything that they're doing on the Internet. I want to know what keywords they're spending money on. I want to know how much money they're spending. So all that information is public information. So if you go to SpyFu, you can use that tool to do that. So I spend 1 month before I work with a client doing nothing but research. That's all we do. I jokingly say, we're actually a research company that happens to do SEO and Internet marketing,
Yep. I love it. Thanks so much for your time, Todd Paton. He is with Paton Marketing. That website is Paton, Paton, marketing.com. Thanks so much, Todd.
Kevin, it was a pleasure.
When we come back, much more for you. Do want to remind you, best content here, it shows up over there at usdailyreview.com. And you're listening to The Price of Business.